I gave her everything, helped pay off her student loans, took care of her sick dad, even skipped my dream job for her. One night, I came home early and heard her laughing in the shower with my best friend. She opened the door mid-kiss and said, "Oh, you're early."
No epaledi. Just that.
I packed her bags, but I didn't take them to the airport. I took them somewhere she never expected.
Hey Hedgichi.
I've been holding this in for a while. Decided it's time to let it out. My name's Tyler. I'm 34 now, but this happened 4 years ago when I was 30, living in Tacoma, Washington. Back then, I thought my life was solid. I had a good job working IT at a mid-sized firm. Not glamorous, but steady. I had a shot at a better job, a dream job actually, in Denver. Better pay, better city, real future. I turned it down.
Why? Sarah.
We'd been together 5 years. She begged me to stay. Her dad had early onset dementia. She didn't want to leave him alone.
Said she needed me.
I loved her, so I stayed. Easy choice at the time. Looking back, that was the first of many signs.
But I didn't see them then.
Or maybe I didn't want to. She had student loans, around $40,000 from some fancy school she never even graduated from. I helped her pay it down. Not all at once, but over time. Every extra check, every bonus, every spare dime. I wanted to build a future with her, so I didn't keep score. She'd cry sometimes and say I was her angel. Said no one ever showed up for her like I did. That meant something to me. I didn't grow up with much, so being that person for her gave me purpose. I got to know her dad pretty well. When he had episodes, when he'd forget what year it was or wander down the block confused, I was the one who'd get the 2 a.m. calls. I'd drive across town, help him home, calm him down. She couldn't do it alone. I didn't mind. I cared about him too. Fast forward to one random Tuesday. I had the day off. Got done with errands early and thought, why not surprise her? I grabbed Thai food from her favorite spot, pad see ew with extra broccoli. I even bought a new button-down shirt. She always said I dressed like a dad, so I tried. I parked a couple blocks away because of some street work. Walked in through the back. That's when I heard it. Water running. And laughing. 2 voices. One was hers. The other, Jason's. Jason was my best friend. Known him since we were 19. He helped me move into my first place. He knew every secret I had. He was family. At first, I froze. I thought, no way. Maybe I was mishearing. Maybe the TV was on or something. But I walked closer. And then I heard her say, "You're so bad." And Jason laugh. "You love it when I do that." My heart dropped. I felt like someone kicked me in the chest. Everything slowed down. I just stood there. Then the water turned off. A few seconds later, the bathroom door opened. She stepped out in a towel. Jason behind her, dripping, shirtless. They both looked up and saw me. She blinked once and said, "Oh, you're early." That was it. Not a scream. Not a gasp. No panic. Just that. Like I'd come home 5 minutes before dinner was ready. Jason started mumbling. Grabbed for his shirt. Wouldn't look at me. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just stared at her. She shrugged. Walked back into the bathroom. I walked outside. Sat in my truck, Thai food still in the passenger seat. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there. For 45 minutes. Then I went back inside. She was on the couch, scrolling her phone like nothing happened. Didn't even try to explain. Just said, "So what now?" I said nothing. I walked into the bedroom and started packing her stuff. Everything. Clothes, shoes, makeup, chargers, books, hair stuff. I even got her little plan off the windowsill. She followed me in, annoyed. "Seriously? You're really doing this?" I kept packing. "You're not even going to talk to me?" "Nothing." She sat on the bed. Said, "You're overreacting." That word. That word. I closed her suitcase and said, "Get in the truck." She laughed. "You're actually kicking me out?" I said, "You can go be with the guy you clearly want. Let's make it easy." She didn't move, just stared. I carried the bags out to the truck. Came back. She was still sitting there. I said, "You coming or do I throw the bags on the lawn?" She got up.
No te ars.
No fight. Just pure arrogance. Like she didn't think I'd actually do it. She got in the truck. We drove in silence. I didn't take her to her dad's. I didn't take her to a hotel. I took her to Jason's place. He lived in a loft downtown. I had the code because I used to crash there. I dumped all 4 bags right in front of his door. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. "This is where you belong," I said. She stepped out. "You're being insane." I said, "You made your choice." Then I got in the truck and drove off. But I wasn't done. I didn't scream. I didn't call anyone. I just started planning. Because I wasn't just going to be the guy who got cheated on and disappeared. Jason betrayed me. Sarah used me. I had receipts. Years of text messages. Bank transfers. Emails. Photos. And one thing most people forget, Jason worked at the same company I did. And he broke a lot more than my trust. I didn't sleep much that night. I stared at the ceiling until sunrise, heart pounding, mind racing. My phone buzzed a few times, Sarah, then Jason. I didn't answer. I didn't even open the messages. I wasn't ready to respond. Not yet. Instead, I started thinking about everything I had done for her. Everything I had done for them. I opened my laptop and logged into my bank. Looked at the payments I'd made to her loans. $38,000, give or take. I had all the receipts. I'd paid most of them directly to the servicer for my account. No co-signing, no shared card. Just my own records. I started downloading statements, organizing every single payment into a folder. Labeled it, Sarah, paid debts. Then I started another folder. Jason, company policy violations. See, Jason and I worked at the same place. Not in the same department, but close enough. He was in sales. Loud guy, everybody liked him. Always made people laugh during meetings. But he wasn't careful. He sent dumb messages through the company's Slack. Flirty ones to a junior assistant. I'd seen some of them. HR probably hadn't. I searched my backups. Found screenshots. He once bragged about entertaining clients by taking them to a bar in Portland and expensing the strip club bill under client dinner. Dumb move. I had proof. I was building 2 cases. One personal, one professional. Still, I needed time. I wanted to hit them both in a way that wouldn't fade in a week. I wanted damage that stuck. I spent the next few days quiet. Ignored Sarah's texts. Ignored Jason. I didn't show up to work for 2 days. Used some sick time. My manager checked in, asked if I was okay. I told him I had a family emergency. Then I heard through a mutual friend, Jason moved Sarah into his place.
They didn't waste time.
The guy who swore he would never do that to me was playing house with my ex, using the couch I helped him pick out. He probably thought I'd just go away. That was his first mistake. A week later, I walked into work like nothing happened. Play it cool. Said hi to a few people, grabbed coffee, sat at my desk. Jason came by around lunch. "Ty, can we talk?" I looked up at him like he was a stranger. He shifted on his feet. "I didn't plan for that to happen, man. It just did." I said, "You finished?" He nodded. I said, "Good," and turned back to my screen. That was the last time we spoke face to face. Later that day, I emailed HR. Not about the cheating. About the harassment messages he'd sent months ago. I included screenshots. Then I flagged the misused expense reports. Client names, receipts, even a photo of the club menu he left in the break room once.
Sloppy.
I didn't stop there. I also filed a small claims suit in Pierce County against Sarah. I wasn't trying to get all the loan money back, but I listed every payment I made on her behalf. Every payment that was not a gift, with no written agreement, while we were not married. It was a long shot. But I knew one thing. She couldn't afford a legal battle. And if nothing else, it would put pressure on her. She called me the day she got served. "Are you out of your mind?" she yelled into the phone. I answered calmly, "You'll want to respond by the deadline." or the court will decide for you. You can't do this. I said, I can. And I am. I hung up. Jason? He was suspended pending investigation within 2 days. HR didn't tell me the outcome, obviously, but I started seeing his name disappear from email chains. Then I heard he was let go. Corporate doesn't mess around when you embarrass them. Sarah, on the other hand, started unraveling fast. A friend sent me screenshots from her private Instagram, passive-aggressive quotes, cryptic captions, drama. She deleted a bunch of pictures. Then she went quiet. The best part? She reached out to my mom. She called her crying, trying to explain how things just happened and how Tyler is ruining my life. My mom told her, "You should have thought about that before you took a shower with someone who wasn't my son." That's when I knew I was winning. But I wasn't done. I was just getting started. About a month later, I started hearing things through the grapevine. First, from one of Sarah's old friends, someone who used to be close with both of us, but drifted after the breakup. She reached out to me randomly, said she didn't know the full story until now. Told me Sarah had started blaming me for everything. Said I was abusive, manipulative, controlling. None of that was true, but it spread. Another mutual friend texted me, "Hey man, did you really sue her over the loans?" I said, "Yep." They replied, "Respect. That's cold." I said, "It's fair." I didn't go around defending myself. I let people think what they wanted. I had proof. If it ever came to it, I'd drop receipts like napalm. But I knew better than to fight rumors head-on. That's not how you win. Instead, I waited. Because the real twist didn't come from me. It came from Jason's ex-girlfriend. Her name was Melanie. She and Jason dated before Sarah and I ever met. She was quiet, smart, worked in accounting. She and Jason had a messy breakup years ago, and I hadn't talked to her since. But she sent me a Facebook message out of nowhere. "Tyler, I've heard what's going on. You deserve better. Also, you might want to check Jason's old Reddit posts. He used to brag about cheating. Look up account_rogue15. Good luck." At first, I thought it was a prank. Then I looked. And holy SHD*, this guy had a full-on Reddit history going back years. Different usernames, but always similar patterns. Bragging about sleeping with taken women. Sharing tips on how to hide affairs. In one post, dated back to the year before Sarah, and I even met. He described having a secret fling with a friend's girlfriend while the guy was working night shifts. It didn't match the timeline with Sarah, but it showed a pattern. The best part? He linked his real Spotify in one of the comments, back when he was flexing a playlist. Same username. Same profile pic. No doubt it was him. So I screenshot everything. Then I sent it to HR's ethics email. Not just for revenge, Jason had burned other people, too. One of the girls he bragged about cheating with was a summer intern. That opened up another investigation. Meanwhile, the small claims suit against Sarah didn't scare her as much as I hoped, until the court date showed up on her doorstep. She tried to file a response claiming all payments were gifts, but she didn't have any proof. So, I pushed harder. I subpoenaed her loan records. Turns out, she had made exactly 0 payments herself in those years. All of it was me. From my account. I even had one email where she thanked me for helping her clean up her debt mess. Her lawyer, probably someone she found on Craigslist, tried to argue that cohabitating made us financially tied.
The judge didn't buy it.
Not fully, but he did agree to let the case move forward. That scared her. She offered to settle for $5,000. I declined. The whole time, she was living with Jason. I heard through a coworker that they'd started fighting. He was out of work, she was stressed, bills piling up. Apparently, she even reached out to my sister to ask if I'd drop the court stuff if she apologized. My sister told her to go to hell. Now here's where it gets even messier. Sarah's dad, her actual father, called me. Not to fight, not to beg, but to apologize. He said, "I didn't raise her to treat people like that. You were good to our family. You didn't deserve this." That shook me. The man I'd stayed behind for, the man I helped for years, while his mind crumbled, was clearer in that moment than Sarah had ever been. He didn't make excuses for her. He didn't blame me. We ended the call with him saying, "If you ever need anything, you call me." 2 weeks later, Sarah and Jason broke up. They made it 2 months, maybe. I heard he kicked her out. Heard she stayed at a friend's couch for a while. Then moved back with her dad. I knew because I drove by one night and saw her old car in his driveway. That should have been enough. But it wasn't. She had dragged my name through the mud. Jason had laughed behind my back for years. So I made one more move. I contacted a local podcast. A real one, small, but based in Tacoma. They did episodes on real betrayal stories and local drama. I told them I had one for the books. I gave them everything, the loan payments, the screenshots, the company policy violations, the lawsuit, the fallout. They changed the names, sure. But everyone close to us knew. The episode dropped under the title, "I paid her loans, cared for her sick dad, and she slept with my best friend. Now they're both broke and alone." It got thousands of plays. And you better believe Sarah heard it. She posted a story the next day on Instagram. People love to profit off pain they caused. Then deleted it an hour later. Jason? No online presence. He disappeared completely. But the story kept spreading. And I wasn't done yet. 3 months after that podcast episode dropped, I got an email from a law office. It wasn't about Sarah. It was about Jason. Turns out, one of the women he bragged about sleeping with, and in turn he slept with while she was reporting to him, had heard the podcast too. She connected the dots. She came forward, said Jason manipulated her, made promises, and ghosted her the second her internship ended. She filed a formal complaint. That led to a deeper look into his time at the company. Remember that expense fraud? Yeah, well, corporate sent it to legal. He got audited. They found thousands of dollars in fake receipts. He wasn't just fired, he was blacklisted. Word spread in the industry fast. I know because a recruiter friend told me. Jason tried to move to a smaller tech firm in Spokane. They pulled the offer after one background check. Then he tried freelancing. Word got around. Nobody wanted to hire the guy with harassment and fraud tied to his name. He ended up working warehouse night shifts, from what I heard. Still drives the same truck. Still acts like he's a victim. He tried to start a YouTube channel at one point, dating advice for men. It flopped. Hard. Comments dragged him into the ground. People posted clips from the podcast in his comments. Even his own cousin posted, "Don't take advice from a dude who lost his job and girl in the same week." As for Sarah, the court didn't force her to pay me back the full $38,000. But the judge did award me $17,400, saying there was enough evidence those were not gifts. He also ruled that if she missed even one payment on the plan, the full amount could be pursued again. She tried to skip the first one. I filed the paperwork the next day. That led to a lien against her car. She had to sell it. Then she tried to negotiate again. I didn't respond. She paid every dime, through wage garnishment. I didn't even have to touch it. The court did it for me. She moved back in with her dad full-time. Took a job as a front desk worker at a medical office in Gig Harbor. No friends. Most people dropped her after the truth came out. I ran into her once, almost a year later. It was at Safeway. I was grabbing a coffee. She was in sweats, hair messy, grabbing canned soup. She looked tired. Older. She stopped. Looked me right in the eye. And said, "You really did all of this to destroy me, didn't you?" I looked back and said, "No. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped covering for you." Then I walked away. I thought that was the end of it. But here's where I admit something. After all the drama, the lawsuit, the podcast, the fallout, I hit a wall. I didn't feel good. I felt empty. I had won. I got justice. But I also realized how much I had let myself shrink for someone who would never love me back the same way. So, yeah, part of me took it too far. I fed off the revenge. I needed to see them suffer. And when it was over, I didn't know who I was anymore. I started therapy.
Told the whole story.
held nothing back. My therapist told me something I didn't expect. She said, "You don't need to feel bad about what you did. You need to feel bad that you stayed so long with someone who didn't see you." That hit me
Hard.
so I started rebuilding. I took the Denver job after all.
They still wanted me.
I moved. Started fresh. New city, new apartment. New version of me that doesn't tolerate crumbs in place of love. Last I heard, Jason tried to apply for a job in Colorado. Didn't get it. Sarah? I don't know. I don't check anymore. I tell people now, don't fight for someone who wouldn't do the same. Don't hand out second chances to people who don't even offer a first apology. And never, ever give everything to someone who thinks, "Oh, you're early," is an acceptable response to a betrayal. I gave her everything. And in the end, I finally gave something to myself. Peace.